trying to achieve change and still combat voter fatigue? How do you avoid voters feeling like you become complicit in the system that you're trying to change?
So I think the first question I heard from the back, I heard Indonesia, I heard Thailand, I heard civilian government, I heard military, and I heard business. So maybe you're asking about how a civilian government can balance between the governance of the country versus these interests. Is that correct? So that's essentially what we campaign on. Our campaign was summarized into 3 Ds: demilitarize, demonopolize, and decentralize Thailand. I think that answers the second question in one go. That's sort of our alternative version of what Thailand could look like to the audience, and gives politics some sensation that people started to finally understand that if you demilitarize, allocate the budget into environmental problems and aging society and digital disruption, people started to understand what it means. Demonopolize is to make sure that the barrier to entry for SMEs are no longer there, and decentralize is to make sure that Bangkok is not Thailand and Thailand is not Bangkok. 50% of the GDP and the budget is within Bangkok, so when COVID hits, then the country becomes paralyzed. What I wish I would do more, actually, I have an answer to you now. I wish I explained this more, that it's not just for the progressives that think like this. Even if you own a large business in Thailand, there's something in it for you as well as inclusive growth. You have a better labor market, you have a larger domestic market like Indonesia, so that you don't have to export your products all the time. So when President Trump slapped the tariff at you, you have that diversification. So those are the things that I try to do. Have a platform, but then also try to explain what's in it for you in my platform in order to move the country, move the party forward. So to correct you, we won only one time. The first time, Future Forward Party got 80 out of 500. So about almost like 20%. The second time we won 40% of the votes. Succession planning. When we found the first movement, we said 4 elections, 16 years. So when we calculate, we don't calculate election per election. We calculate in terms of next 2 decades. And we understand that it's not going to happen overnight. And we'll give ourselves maybe 4 elections, which is 16 years. If we fail, we'll pass it on to the next. We'll pass the baton to the next election. But in the second time, then we won already. But it has to keep going, and the fatigue is definitely there. So it's not going to be an easy thing. And it has to be the campaign 24/7, 365. So it's not like 3 months before the election and you have some endorsement and you have Beyonce with you and have some presenting appearance, party of the elite kind of thing, whether it's Democratic Party or our party. You have to have some grassroots, and you have to be there all the time. Election season is 4 years in a row, so it's not just going to be like 200 days before the election days. That would be my take for those 3 questions.
Let me try to address those. Let me push it in the back, and then I think your question is really about corporate capture. If you have an elite that dominates the government, how do you push back when they seem powerful? And I think the answer to that is to show how this capture of government is not serving ordinary people. And corruption is often by far and away the most powerful way to do that. And corruption are not necessarily people, immediately putting the money in their pocket, but basically paying off their cronies, finding the preferred beneficiaries of government projects. And so, this is a big problem that Orban has in Hungary, where he was getting these big European Union subsidies. What was he using them for? To build football stadiums, to pay off his cronies. Meanwhile, medical care in Hungary is abysmal. And people saw that connection. It had to be pointed out. But this is a very useful antidote. Something similar is going on in Egypt, where Sisi is building this huge administrative capital outside of Cairo. Who needs this? Nobody. But it's a way to pay off basically the military and their construction contractors, including the military dominates. And again, ordinary Egyptians can't afford bread. Today there have been protests in Morocco because the government is building these, stadiums for the World Cup. It's coming up. Morocco's going to be a co-host. And basic.
คนไม่ว่าจะอยู่ที่ออสเตรเลียญี่ปุ่นหรืออะไรกันหมดเพื่อเสียดายโอกาสนั้นมากออกมาพอดีผมมีงานต่อ ครับขอบคุณครับ
คุณทีมกลับบอสตันคืนนี้ไหมคะ
ครับผมมีวันสองวันเดี๋ยวก็ไปแล้วครับ
แล้ววันอังคาร
รูปไปกันไหมก็ถ่ายรูปไปกันด้วยเชิญ
อ๋อค่ะ
ไม่อยากถ่ายจำไม่ได้แล้วไม่อยากถ่ายใช่ไหม
ค่ะ
และมีจุดเด่นกว่านั้นคือ ไม่เคยคุยโตโอ้อวดทำงานก็ไม่ชอบเอาหน้า